To prepare the stindines, you need to open and fold back one end so that you can feed the whole stindine inside itself. See how Steve's doing it here? It'll go right down in there. And the reason is to turn the stindine inside out. You'll know you did it right when you look at the stindine after it's all turned inside out. The fatty tissue from the inside will now show on the outside of the stindine. See, there it is.
Good.
Yep, we're making Soupie. Soupie is actually known as sopressata in Italy. It's January 13th, a few years ago, and we're in the cellar of the Italo-American Club. The temperature here is about 45 to 50 degrees, which is okay for making the Soupie. Our boys are busy cutting up the pork meat so it fits into the grinder. The package of meat you see here is called a cushion. That's what you ask the butcher for. Tell him you want about 60 pounds of meat if you want to make about 60 Soupies. Here's the bucket of stindines, as we call them. Those are the casings we were preparing. Here, my brother-in-law is getting ready to mix all the seasonings. Now Stevie's shaking the container of all the seasonings to mix them thoroughly. This pile of fat was cut off the cushions, you see back there by the grinder. There's about 1 pound of fat in the 60 pounds of meat. You can actually leave it on the meat. Once the meat is ground and mixed, you won't see it. But we like our Soupie a little lean. My brother-in-law pours half the bag of seasonings on the pile. The other half will go in another 60 pounds. They'll mix that later. Now our sons start mixing all the seasonings into the meat. They'll do this for about 8 minutes. Here they go. Gotta mix it up really good. The best part of the process right here, making patties for the taste test. In the background there, you see my brother-in-law? He's packing meat around the spline of the grinder, so it's fully packed when he starts stuffing the casings. You should poke the air pockets on each Soupie with a needle, so there's no chance of air being inside. Each casing has had one end tied prior to starting this whole part of the process. See there, you can see that fatty tissue is on the outside of that stem beam. That's how you want it to look. To tie the other end, we put the string under the Soupie, about 2 to 3 inches in from the end, and tie a square knot, good and tight. See, we have left that first end string long. The second string doesn't need to be quite as long. You just trim off the excess stem beam. Each one should be wiped so they aren't dripping wet. We're going to carry them in this box to my father-in-law's cellar. Here we are in Davy's cellar, where the Soupie will be hung for curing. Make sure they don't touch each other. For more detailed information on making Soupie and the delicious recipe that we have passed down through the years, go to our website, soupiemaking.com. SOUPIMAKING.com.